Hello and welcome back to another episode of Dad's Diag. Today we're doing another brake job, very similar to the one we did on the Mazda 6, except this time it's a Volkswagen Jetta. 2013 2.5 5-cylinder, naturally aspirated, no turbo in this one, which is, I think, good. Less things to break down. So I've already done the other side brakes, rear brakes, and the reason I'm doing this one is there's a couple of tips and tricks that I'd like to show you. Similar to the Mazda 6, but also a bit different. So strap in, let's get going. I pull the caps. Each lug has a cap like this on it, and you see this one has a hex pattern in it. It also has wheel locks, which means you get one that's shaped like this inside. So that one is special just to the one with the wheel lock. So let's get these wheels off, or this wheel off here. Caution, loud noises. Now, I did these rear brakes about 5 years ago. That's the wheel lock. And I'll show you that. What happened. Okay, I found it. Here's the wheel lock. That one goes on the special one. There. Make sure it's seated all the way in. If you strip that, you'll never get it out again. And of course, falls off. This is a German car. We know what that means. That they use lug bolts. Not lug nuts, lug bolts. And they go into here. So all of us who own Volkswagens know the pain of trying to get these wheels back on and trying to get that lug right back in that hole. Okay, these brakes are pretty much down to nothing. Let's get some more light on this subject. First, we got to take out the nuts, the bolts, and that. There we go. 13 millimeter yellow bolt. I don't know why they went 13 on this. If you can use just a ratchet wrench. They shouldn't be all that tight. because they don't need to be all that tight. There's one. Get underneath here. Got that loose. You may have to hold the pin. It does have a hex side to it. Finding a wrench that'll go on is very difficult. All right, let's see. I remember this being a little tough. Maybe not this one. There we go. And take a look at this caliper we see. We got notches in it, which means it's a screw in. So we're gonna have to do the, I use the cube, as I call it. Let's take a look at these. They wore evenly, but they're down to nothing. They're minutes away from getting metal to metal. Literally. I told him last week, we got to do this. It's my son's car. This one's got a little more on it. They're wearing evenly. The thickness is the same. So that's good. Another thing I noticed, it's got the notches, and it's supposed to be for a pin on these, but they don't have the pin. Neither of them. And the new ones don't have the pin. So I guess it's doesn't have to have this matched up top to bottom. It can land anywhere at once. I might want to clean that surface off. Looks like it's got some sort of RTV or something on it. Probably to reduce noise. I didn't do it last time. I didn't put RTV on. And you can put these aside. Let's check the slide pins. That one's good. Boot's good. This one doesn't have to be tied up because it's got a heavy-duty cable for the emergency brake. This one turns and slides easily, so I'm not going to worry about that. And now we say, oh, okay, next step, get the bracket off. Well, guess what? Bracket uses something called a triple square, which I don't have. And couldn't find anything close enough because it just wouldn't fit. Yes, I use an impact to get that screw out. It seems to work the best every time. That first snap is enough to break it loose. So I said, well, what am I going to do? I don't have a triple square. I can't get the bracket off. How do I get the rotor off? Well, guess what? Free tip Friday. If we can break this thing loose, it's going to need a hammer. A little rust on the hub. There we go. These loose and comes right off. No need to take the bracket off. How do you like that? That's the first and only one I've ever seen that you can do that with. Let's take a look in here. If you can see that, there's your wheel speed sensor, and this is a magnet on the hub. This is a 4-bolt hub that you can replace fairly easily. This one's still good. Runs free, smooth. I don't feel any graininess in there. So we're gonna have to clean him up. That's our next step. It's gonna get dusty. I picked up one of these types of cleaners for the drill. I'll get all the rust off. Especially around the hub here, because that's where the rotor meets it, and that's where they rust jack. That's why I had to hit that with a hammer. There's some rust in there. Alright, get it all nice and smooth and clean. Yep, feels good. Alright. Get some gloves on. I don't use the rubber, I use the vinyl. I don't have a rubber allergy. It's just easier to get these. These are just for keeping your hands clean. Rubber tends to get bound up in metalwork and any rotating device you may have, like a drill with a brush on it. So let's clean the, this is where the ears of the pads meet here. So I'm going to clean this off, give it a good file job, make sure it's nice and flat. I want to make sure that those pads slide up and down that easily. They're not too bad. I'm also going to run a file over it. Nice flat one. Rough. Make that kind of rough. So put your thumb here. Make sure it's flat. Across here, you don't want to cut it at an angle. You can feel when you got it down flat, nice and smooth. Hold it up here. Press them up. There we go. All right, nice and clean. Now, since this is where metal to metal meets, I'm going to put a little grease on it. And I've got some SuperTech multi-duty complex, high temp applications. The Walmart special is what it is. It's a red grease. Just a little teeny bit on here. This does not have the stainless steel sliders on it. It's just pad right to the caliper bracket. Make sure you get the inside so you don't have grease up against your rotor. Alright, next thing we want to grease is the inside area of the hub right here. That's so the next guy, probably me, when they won't go to take the wheel off, it's not much trouble. Did I grease it last time? I don't know. I really don't know. You don't have to grease the flat. We just have to make sure that, I mean, that would help avoid new rust under it, but this one really didn't accumulate any. It was a good mating surface. So, okay. Got a little film of it around there. And get the towel, clean your fingers off. And some brake clean. Ching. I don't have the sound effect. You don't have to worry about this face. The face that's the problem. Oh, what is that? That's not brake clean. That's engine degreaser. Okay. Now we're going to have to line up the hole here with the screw hole. And here it is right here. Slide that in. There we go. I'm lining up. There we go. Okay. Let's get that screw in. We can hold that down. By the way, this is a T. What is it? It's a T30 screw. Just a half an underdog. You don't have to have it on tight. Now with this car, you have to kind of have one of them in there. It really helps because there's no way you're going to line up this, and your wheel and get a bolt in. You're going to be wrestling the heavy wheel on top of all this mess. So that's why I did that. Next step is, this is a screw-in, so I have come up with a way to do this since I don't have this special tool, and I don't do these that often. Screw in the top. All right. And we'll get a screwdriver just like we did last time. And here's another thing I had to do with this one, because that slide pin slides very easily. So in order, while I'm pushing, and you have to push hard on this one. The Mazda was easy, the threads grabbed. But on this one, the threads don't grab very easily, so you have to push it in pretty hard while you're turning. And while you're doing that, you're going to push this thing off the slide pin. So what I do is that. And then we get our wrench with our cube on it. See if I can get you a better view here. The cube will fit in here. Now I had to go through every side to pick the right one. It has these two nubs on it that fit this particular brake caliper. Alright, he wants to... Maybe I'll do it the other way. Let's see. Let me put the lower piece in. See if that's any better. That does not want to bend. This cable here is holding me captive. So I'm going to have to find a way to do it with the upper. Screw that in hand tight, put it pretty far in. All right. We can. There we go. Got him sitting out there. Oh, I gotta find that again, It's nice of him. Was going to happen. Now you could probably see better than I can. I can't see anything. So let me get myself in a position where I can see. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to do. It really is. Oh, here's an idea. Clamp on this side. That pretty tight. Don't go too far. I'm gonna damage it. There we go. Starting to turn. Gotta put some inward force. thing takes a lot more turns than the Mazda. 15 or 20 before you start getting it in there. I also put it on a wobble extension so that when it locks in, it'll kind of stay flat, even if I move a little. There we go. And it's got to slip off about a dozen times while you're doing this. Press in. And this is where you have to have your patience really leveled up. You can't see it. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to knock you there. I think I might get on the ground. I can put my legs under there. I have a jack stand and a jack under this cart. And I can see it now. The reason the clamp is on here because it's going to want to push it right off the pin. So, for all you folks with the 2013 Jetta, at least you don't have to mess with the caliper bracket to get the rotor off. And it doesn't even look like it's going in. Finer threads on this than the Mazda. Pressing in with every turn. I think it's going in. All right, that's far enough. You got the boot compressed. Make sure there's no air in it. And now we are ready to put the pads on. Take that out. Take the clamp off. Let's get the new pads in. Let's wipe off the grease that I somehow got on here. Okay. Here's what the pads look like. And they have this little butterfly spring on it. That keeps them pressed against here. That butterfly spring rests up in the caliper. So let's get the back one in. Front and back pads are identical. Plenty of room. Say there's no pin on it to match up with the caliper piston, which is, to me, that seems odd. But that's how they do it. You don't question the Germans. They ask the questions. Alright, got them started. Let's get our 13 mil. 11, 14. Where's the 13? Here it is. Put you back over here. That's loose. That's tidy. Alright, I got that pin spinning. Let's see. That is the tool. Put a pair of vice grips on it just to hold it still. Once the metal bites in, take that out. Let's see. Huh? There we go. All right. Give it a little shake this way to see if you got the movement. See that? All right. The brakes may be done. Brush off the dirt here. You don't want your wheel to wobble. how tough this is going to be. I have another method I'd like to show you. There's the screwdriver. Even if you get it on the hub, you have to turn the wheel to match up the holes, which is not fun. So I got a big screwdriver. And I'll put, now these have extra holes in them, I guess for different hub sizes. So got to find one with a bolt hole in it. It's not on the hub. Get one bolt in, preferably at the bottom. Start them all by hand. Using the screwdriver to center the bolt holes. Once you got one hand tight, you're good. Ooh. This in there. Whoa, wrong way. Couple of dings there just to snug it up so you can drop it onto the ground. I'm going to use a torque wrench on them. Get them to the right torque. And that's it. Oh, don't forget to put your caps on. Oh, here's my arm in the way. I'm sorry. Don't forget to put your caps on when you're done torquing it. Oh, jacks. There's the jack drop it. couple of jacks stand out. Get the one on the other side. Alright, now I can drop it. All right. Set to about 100 foot-pounds. Maybe a little less. There we go. Where's the... It gets lost faster than... Get him in there. There we go. Okay. That's it. It looked real hard the way I did it. If you have the tool for cranking in that piston, you'll be much better off and may go a bit faster. But I found that these Jettas are very difficult to get that piston in. I don't know if it's because there's a lot of threads or you have to push it in so hard while you're turning it that you can't get the threads to catch. Once they do, it goes in. About 10 to 15 turns once it catches. And that's I hope you enjoyed that new tip on getting the rotor off. And leave any comments or questions in the comment section for me. And I'll see you again next time on Dad's Diag.